You guys have to be excited about this.
Yeah, for sure.
Kawhi Leonard, Giannis Antetokounmpo leading the Raptors and the Bucks on top of the Eastern Conference. Toronto has the most wins in the entire league, 3 more than the Golden State Warriors. The Bucks are one of 4 teams that come into this Sunday with 16 wins on a 3rd seed in the East. Pascal Siakam is emerging as a key player for the Raptors. Recently, the NBA E crew caught up with him.
You're facing Giannis too coming up in a couple games. Let's talk about him and what that team.
Yeah, Milwaukee, they took a big step too, just guys are playing well, man. Giannis, obviously, we all know what he's able to do on the floor. Freak athlete and the things that he does, I don't think we've seen, players do that in a while. So he's a great player. It's going to be a fun matchup. They beat us the first game we played in Milwaukee, so, obviously we're looking to, get a little revenge.
Let's welcome in Kate Burness from TSN. Hey, Kyle Lowry, 4-23 in his last 3 games. What's happening with him?
Yeah, there have been some big-time offensive inconsistencies with Kyle Lowry as of late. He's simply just in a slump, but maybe Brooklyn his worst game so far. He was just 1 of 8 from the floor, and I think the bigger part of that one was also the 5 turnovers. Now, not to be, completely on his side at this point, but he is doing a lot right for the Raptors as well. I mean, he's leading the league in assists with 10.1 per game. He's also got 11 double-doubles on the season. That's second behind Ben Simmons in the East. So I think it's just a matter of getting into a rhythm for Kyle, and once he finds it, he's going to be just fine. I literally just spoke with Nick Nurse, and I said, what would you like to see from Kyle, especially after that game? And he said, just keep doing what he's doing. I mean, he's distributing the ball well. The team is a better team with him on the floor. So I know it'll come, and I think as a Raptor fan, you'd much rather see this now in December than in May.
Well, Giannis has missed 1 game all year. That was his first matchup between these 2 teams back in October. So we got to ask, should we expect Pascal Siakam or Kawhi to guard him for the majority of the game?
You're going to see a one-on-one with one Kawhi Leonard. The great part about Pascal, though, is he is so versatile that at some point Kawhi will have to go off, and you will probably see Pascal slide into that spot. I think the great part is, too, is the 2 of them are kind of dimming this whole one-on-one matchup down. But you got to know that 2 unbelievably athletic guys, 2-way players, I mean, this is going to be a battle all night long. And, Kawhi just getting better and better each and every game. And I like to say, I don't think Kawhi's at 100% yet. I mean, we didn't see him last season, really, and we've only seen him for a handful of games this season. So I think, too, once you see Kawhi back to 100%, that would be the ultimate matchup. But tonight, especially after the 2 of them did not play in that first game in Milwaukee, it is going to be a battle no matter what they say.
Yeah, Milwaukee did hit 19 3-pointers in one, like you said, without Giannis. So how are the Raptors adjusting defensively to limit the NBA's top 3-point shooting team?
Yeah, this is a really scary team, and especially with that trade. I mean, their depth at point guard now is just exceptional. And I think what the Raptors may do, they will start with the starting lineup, having Serge in there. But if you noticed at the end of the Brooklyn game, they went with a small lineup in the last 5:17 of that game, and that's where they were able to tie it and push it into overtime. So they had the 2 point guards out there, Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry, the wings, and Kawhi and Danny. And then you had Pascal as the center. So to get a guy like Serge or JV out of the lineup and concentrate maybe a little more on the small ball and defending the 3-point line, you may see Nick Nurse do something like that tonight. And they know how good they are from 3-point. But the advantage with the Raptors is when they are playing well defensively, I mean, they really can slow down the deep ball. But the big thing will be obviously the rebounds as well, which just weren't there in Brooklyn.
I'm glad you mentioned JV and Serge as well, because those 2 guys, they've had to change their roles this season to try to make it work. Are they getting along with how it's working out with their minutes being dialed back a little bit?
Absolutely, and I think they're both such professionals. And I spoke to Jonas Valanciunas at the beginning of the season when we learned that he may be coming off the bench rather than starting. When Dwayne Casey was here, JV was basically always in the starting lineup. And we saw Serge's struggles in the postseason last year, and then he's kind of revitalized his game this year. They are so good with whatever works for the Toronto Raptors at this point. Jonas is very interesting because he does not have the athleticism of, say, a Pascal or a Serge at times, but he can be so effective in other games. So it's really knowing when to put him in that game. But I got to tell you, if the team's winning, and they're still the best team right now on paper in the NBA, I mean, you got to think that they're going to keep going the way they are, and they'll be perfectly fine with their minutes either way.
certainly the most wins in the NBA currently, the Toronto Raptors, so things are working out. Kate Burness, appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Let's take a look at two most physical marvels currently in the NBA, or possibly in history. Candace, you're shaking your head. I mean, that's pretty amazing when you look at the wingspan, the hand size, height of these guys.
When you look at a Kawhi Leonard who's giving up a couple inches to Antetokounmpo, you look at his wingspan, it's still matching his. And Giannis has a wide wingspan.
He's not small.
He's not small. So I just think that this is just speaking to the length and the athleticism that they play with.
Yeah, listen, length and athleticism is really important, but skill trumps all of it. And the reason they're special is because with that, they provide you with tremendous skill and understanding of how to play the game at the highest level.
GA, when you have a teammate like that, like Giannis, like Kawhi, what does that do for the rest of the guys on the team on a night-in, night-out basis and how they step up?
Listen, anytime if I got to play with Candace Parker every game, it's going to make me a better player, because when I can go into a game and I can say, you know what, my teammate might be the best player in the world, I gain confidence from that. And that's something legitimately that everyone who plays with Kawhi Leonard and Giannis Antetokounmpo can say, and they can say it with conviction. And when you feel that way, you get a boost of confidence from that. It allows you to play the game with more trust and belief that we're going to win. If I just do my job, we have a chance to win every night we take the floor. That's how special those two guys are. That's why right now they're two of the top teams in the entire league. They've got quality wins against some of the best teams in this league. And their style dictates that they have a chance to actually win it all, because both these teams also were built. Everybody's trying to build the model to go against the Golden State Warriors. You've got to have skill. You've got to be able to shoot the three. You've got to also be able to defend the three. And these are two teams that I think on paper, and they've proven thus far, they have the capability and the wherewithal to compete at the highest level.
Well, to add to that, I mean, you have a guy that this system within the Milwaukee Bucks has been built around. I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo, surrounding him with three-point shooting seemed like it was, no-brainer. And the way that he's playing, being able to get to the paint, distribute, to surround him, I mean, no one defender is going to guard him. And so you put a team in a predicament. Whereas a Kawhi came into a system that already exists. And there's not many players. I mean, I can think of a Kevin Durant that fits, obviously, with a Golden State where he's a great shooter or whatever. But Kawhi is perfect for the system because he is a two-way player that defends as well as can get you buckets. I mean, we talk about having somebody on your team that you know that you can rely on. I mean, look what Jimmy Butler's done with Philly. Yeah. The same with Kawhi. You have him on the team. He can close games and he can also defend.
And remember, real quickly, DeMar DeRozan is a really good basketball player. But last year, DeMar DeRozan was never in the conversation to be the best player in the league. So Kawhi Leonard takes Toronto to another level because of that, because the opposing team looks at him as arguably being the best player in the league.
What specifically does Kawhi do defensively that makes him so effective? I mean, you're talking about a Finals MVP because of how great defense he played on LeBron James. You're talking about a Defensive Player of the Year.
Well, back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year, I mean, it's his length, it's his athleticism, it's his anticipation. When they played against the Sixers, he was guarding Jimmy Butler. He was guarding Ben Simmons. He's able to guard multiple players. I mean, you see here, it's a simple out-of-bounds play, but because of his length, he's able to get a deflection, and the Raptors are able to go in transition, which they've been excellent at this year. This year, you see in this possession, Kawhi switches. He's able to stunt, keep Ben from getting the layup, but also stunt and recover to a good shooter in Jimmy Butler and get the deflection for Siakam with the jam. Here, he's able to guard the ball. He goes over the screen with his length, his athleticism. I mean, 7'3" wingspan. Jimmy Butler decides he can't get the shot. He gets the deflection. I mean, we are looking at this. He's 11 1/4 width of hands, 9.75 inches length. He's playing with a tennis ball.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. He's playing basketball with a tennis ball, and he's still able to shoot the ball well as defend for